Hello, good evening, wherever in the world you are watching tonight. You are watching the Cheese Room podcast. And what a lineup we have got for you this evening. We're going to put the weekend in the past tonight and look forward and maybe look back a little bit as well at the goings on at the caravan site that is whatever they call it these days, the Olympic Stadium. Joining me all the way from Australia, g'day, Dave. How are you? Is that a new mic you're sporting there?
Yes, it is. It's a 50th birthday present from my good friend Matt. So thanks, Matt. And I'm really honoured. I'm in the panel next to you. I've never been in the panel next to you in all this time. So thank you, caller. I'm duly grateful.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we need to do that.
I don't want to be next to you. Can I move back?
No, absolutely not, Shan. You're there. So thanks for pointing that out, Dave. And your first show of your 50s, how do you feel? Slightly creaky?
Oh, I've been creaky for many a year, never alone the last week. So, yeah, all good to be in the 50s.
Well, good stuff. And great to have you back on. Also joining us, sharpening her Nuno out axe is Shannon this evening. Hi, how are you, Shan?
Who said I was Nuno out?
It is Shan, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, caller, you're so boring. Who said I was Nuno out? Where did you get that?
Dave did, basically.
Oh, Dave, I'm not Nuno out just yet. I do think he's under quite a lot of pressure. I wouldn't be sad to see him go, but only if there's a decent replacement, which it doesn't look like there is at the moment. So what's the point in getting rid of him just to get another mediocre?
All right.
It's like square pegs, round holes, isn't it?
This is your intro.
This is the intro.
You're supposed to tell us what you're drinking, not your political statement.
Do you know what? I've left my drink in the bedroom, so I might have to summon Jack to bring it to me. Just squash. Yeah, come on, if you're watching, bring it in, please.
Absolutely lightweight. Ring the bell. And of course, enjoying another well-deserved holiday. All the way from Austria, it's the Harlow Globetrotter. I mean, well-deserved. Debate.
Well, I worked really hard without a break for 6.5 weeks. I mean, obviously weekends are a break, and I stop working about 1 o'clock every day. But if you take away those breaks, I've worked really hard.
Well, there you go. I believe you, millions wouldn't, and thousands watching at home wouldn't right now. And also our esteemed special guest this evening, it's the woman who gave us the HG, Mother HG. How are you today, Mother HG?
I'm fine, thank you. Had a lovely day.
Very good.
You're
in Austria right now with HG,
and I have my drink. Yeah, I'm with HG.
Lucky you. Lucky you. Well, we're going to talk about the Caravan Cup final. Look forward a bit to the Burnley watch along on Wednesday night, Shan. We can
Oh God! Don't keep reminding me. I'm going to bleach my eyes beforehand.
Be a session, and we're going to look towards the other weekend's talking points. But before we do that, we do say likes are everything. So please do, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching at home, hit the like button. I can see we've got a new channel member, so welcome to Gov. Thanks very much for becoming a YouTube member, sir. And again, if you want to catch one of those memberships, the details are pinned in the message at the top of the screen. So we will talk about that during the show. I mean, very good, very good. I get the feeling there's going to be some abuse coming your way tonight, HD.
Hang on a second. Am I going to be dealing with people trying to flirt with my mum on YouTube?
Or trolling you, one or the other, I think.
Oh no, it's no skin off my nose if my mum looks younger than me. I don't care about that. I think that's great.
Good.
This could be great.
This could be great. This could be gold. Well, what we normally say, if we get to 100 likes, we do something. It's normally Shan necking a bottle of gin or something. But tonight, it's HG will do a I told you so jig, following his rant last week about Nuno resting players for the weekend. So 100 likes gets you a HG jig. You feeling okay about that, HG?
Yeah, I'm a white man who can dance. I'm all right.
Ooh.
Oh,
If that doesn't make you hit the like button, nothing will. So smash that like button up. Shan, you keep me updated with the likes, please, as we go through.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Let's talk about, if we have to talk about it, let's face into it. The West Ham game, the Caravan Cup final. I got all sorts of abuse on Twitter this week for putting that it was West Ham's cup final, but it was. So if you're watching at a West Ham, up yours, it is your cup final. And I hope you enjoy this moment because it's as good as your season's going to get, you pathetic little weasels. Screenshot that. HG, did you get to see any of the game and what were your thoughts on it?
So look, to be perfectly honest, I watched the first half and then I had to go to the airport to pick Mum up. So I haven't even seen West Ham's goal. It's not true. I saw the Twitter video of Kane marking him as the ball goes in, but I haven't seen it from a different angle. I thought first half it was like a friendly. Neither side seemed particularly. It wasn't that blood and thunder game that you normally expect in a Caravan Cup final, and so. I thought we were the better side, but I thought the bar was pretty low. We had a couple of good chances. Kane's header that was well saved, and Son probably should have scored. Score one of those, it's a different game, obviously. But I thought, as always, we were too narrow. I've seen a few remarks along those lines from the second half that we just didn't have any width. But I thought that way in the first half too. It's the same old, same old. We try and break teams down by going through the middle, and we don't have the skill to do it. So it's more luck than judgment if it works out.
Shan, how are you feeling going into this match? We talked on the show last Friday. Everyone was kind of like expected this almost a little bit. How are you feeling going into it?
I mean, what do we expect? Our form in London derbies this season is absolutely atrocious, and this was no different. They just don't turn up. I can't begin to understand what it is about playing teams in London that our team hates so much. I mean, you could argue that, to be fair, it's just a recurrence of the second half against Newcastle because we didn't have a shot on target then either. But to not have a single shot on goal in the whole second half against West Ham when you're a goal down is criminal. It's disgusting. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to carry on eating now.
What are you eating? Is there anything nice? After 8 minutes.
Good choice.
Good
choice.
Oh, after 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I splashed out on them. They were like £3.50.
Wow.
Don't get them in Australia.
We should let everyone know that there are other evening mints available.
After 8 have not sponsored this broadcast, and from that basis, I mean, if they want to reach out to us, we'll take payment in After 8s. It's no problem at all. Chris, 44 people watching and only 31 likes. There's 60 people watching now, so clearly people are liking it. They want to see the HG jig, but we're on 30 something. Hit that like button. Sorry, Chan? 33. Hit the like button. Let's get it up to 100 and watch HG dance. Is Mother in quarantine, or does she not like being in the same room as HG? Discuss Mother HG.
We are in the same room.
You could give him a clip round the ear then when he,
He's too tall.
He steps out of line. Yeah. There you go. Mrs. HG, do you think that West Ham will finish above Spurs this season?
I know they did last season, but I'm hoping they won't this season. They don't deserve to. Well, I think we're a better team than West Ham. End of. Really. I didn't see any of the game either because I was flying
through the air. Well, I hope
you probably had a better time than we did, Mother HG.
Absolutely. I hope HG sent for you business class as well. Just putting that out there as well.
I do love the fact that no one knows her name, so you all have to call her Mother HG. It's brilliant.
That is her name, isn't it?
No, they've got to say it, Mother HG the whole night.
Dave?
It's a name that's appropriate to my age.
Mother HG.
So younger than me then.
I like Mother HG. I think that's good. Dave, do you think he picked the right lineup on the day? I mean, obviously he rested the entire 11. midweek, so we lost the Europa Conference League match, Nuno out, and then obviously, much to mine and HG's disgust, told you so, we lost at the weekend. Did he pick the right lineup? Not putting words in your mouth.
He did pick the right lineup. Obviously, for the two of you, you can do the "I told you so" jig together. But I felt the decision last against Vitesse to play the other team was the correct one. I think that the fact that we've now played same lineups, 3 games running, I think it's a good thing. Gives us consistency. The fact of the matter is that our squad doesn't have enough quality. I think that's more of the issue than anything else. The question. I mean, I saw the 25-minute highlight package about knowing the score because I was doing the school run on Monday morning for the first time in 4 months.
Am I the only one who watched this game? Shannon watched it.
Shannon watched it. Yeah. So I felt that in the first half, we had chances in the first half, but I always felt watching it. Here's our chances. We don't take them. We all know how this is going to end. So it's a disappointing result, but a pretty even game. I think West Ham, Moyes has got them playing as a team. They seem a collective unit. Close your ears, Mother HG. The Dildo brothers don't seem to be making any public proclamations anymore, and I think that's a good thing for the unity of the team. And he's got them playing well. A lot of people wrote off Moyes as a manager. He's doing a good job there.
Yeah. Do you think... no, I'm not going to come on to Nuno just yet. It's too tempting. You keep dangling it like low-hanging fruit, and I want to swallow it up there, but I'm not going to do it yet.
That's not the only thing you want to swallow up, caller.
Yes, I've got a large gin here, Shan. Thank you very much for that. Shan, what are your thoughts on West Ham?
Mine?
Yes, Shan.
I think I made my thoughts on West Ham perfectly clear on Friday. I called them embarrassing, pathetic, embarrassing and pathetic, really. I mean, they're better than us at the moment. They're a better team than we are. Obviously, they haven't got better individuals. We've got better individuals, but our individuals don't play as a team. So there lies the problem. They don't want to play together. Harry and Sonny. Newcastle, I think, was a blip where they actually decided to like each other for a few minutes, and then that seems to have gone again.
What about the Villa game?
What about the Villa game?
I thought we played well against Villa.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. Well. Yeah, I don't think he did play that well. Harry did. I don't think he did. He stands about
a lot.
He stands about more than he does anything. He's not the Harry of old. I've said it all season. Newcastle, I was thinking, I even said after the Newcastle win, he needs to carry on doing it. He needs to do it against West Ham, against United. From what we saw, he's not going to do it. And we can't drop him either because a certain Mr. Levy hasn't signed a backup striker. So that's a whole other kettle of fish. I'm sure we'll come on to that later in the show.
It's going to turn into a Nuno out, Levy out rant, Shan. What's going on here? Brian, get out of her.
What?
So you can play your game. Right.
Bobby Brown.
HG, why can't we hit the back of the net at the moment? Why can't we hit the back of the net? So we created some chances in the first half. Why is it not clicking? Because I'll be fair, we didn't play that extraordinarily badly that game, but we didn't take our chances.
For West Ham, I mean, I can only talk about the first half. I think Son should have scored. I think he snatched at it a little bit. I think Harry was going for power rather than placement. But if it's directly above the keeper, then it's good. They're going to save it. It's those little split decisions. It's fine margins. We say this all the time, but it is kind of fine margins. Some games we score 3 goals from 1.5 chances, and then against West Ham we had a few good chances, and none of them were really that close. I mean, I think Harry's header was probably the best of them. But to me, it's not really. We're barely creating chances. I mean, Harry's header was, let's say, a pretty hopeful cross from Reguilon. I don't think he was really aiming for it, just getting in the right area and allowing Harry to attack it. But the only width we had in that first half came from Reguilon, and it wasn't enough. I don't like seeing Son move inside. Everyone knows how much I hate Moura moving inside. To me, if you've got pace, you go away from players. You don't try and run directly at them because, as we know with Lucas, 95 times out of 100, he just runs into trouble. He doesn't do anything with it. He can't pass it at the right time. So I don't want to repeat myself, but I feel like I have to. It's all about spacing. Like if you've got options and people are going to be out there, then it's easy. But do our attackers really know where their teammates are going to be? I don't know. That's the frustrating bit. We've got great attacking players. I believe that. Right? I mean, I don't rate Lucas, but I do think we've got some decent players who know how to play football. But when you make it difficult for yourself and easy for the opponents to defend against you, then of course we're going to struggle. Yes, maybe West Ham were lucky to score one because I don't know how many great chances they created. They certainly didn't create much in the first half. But I just feel that we're kind of handicapping ourselves, and we don't need to be doing it. Like, how many injuries do we have? Like, barely any. Certainly none that we think are important.
Sessegnon.
So, yeah, Sessegnon and Doherty. I mean, both of them.
Can go.
Would they even make the 20 if they were fit? Let's be honest, they might not. So I just think that it's a lot of it is on Nuno and what he wants the team to do and how he wants them to play. Because I don't think, granted, footballers maybe aren't the smartest people in the world, but I'm sure that professional footballers will have learned enough just through playing about what can work and what can't. And just keeping on doing the same thing. And I saw that Nuno didn't make any subs. It's a massive issue. A lot of it has to fall back on Nuno.
I saw this comment picked out, channel member Gov. I was the only one watching Reggie being hit on the wing. I've watched the game twice now. I mean, you are really a masochist if you've watched it twice. I'd have to say the game plan is to hit Reggie out wide and cross it. It just didn't work. Reggie didn't have a good game, did he? But the one ball he put over onto Kane's head, Shan, Kane completely fluffed his lines, didn't he? We can't buy a goal at the moment, but for my money, we're not creating enough chances, are we? And if the tactics are as simple as pass it to Reggie and hope that he gets it in the box, it's got to be a bit more developed than that, hasn't it?
I've said it before, but I think we're suffering Jose ball, but we're not as clinical. So under Jose, we weren't creating many chances, but we were very clinical. I think our shot conversion rate was very good. But this season, you're right. We can't buy a goal at the minute. It's tough to watch, and it's tough to pick yourself up to get excited to watch Spurs at the moment. It really is. I mean, I'm looking forward to the United game, but mostly because I'm getting the train. I can go to the pub and I can drink enough so that I hopefully don't remember what I watch when I get there. That's how I feel about Spurs at the moment. It is painful. It's painful to watch, and we're paying the most expensive ticket prices in the league to watch this shit week in, week out. And as fans, we don't deserve that. They need to sort it out. I know it's going to take a little bit of time with Paratici, but
I didn't watch the game, but I listened to Nuno afterwards and said they played how he wanted them to play. It was a good game. It was one set piece that let them down. And I didn't see the game, but he thinks that's good and he thinks the fans are going to back that. He's definitely the wrong manager.
He's in denial, is what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think someone said to him, have we got a lack of creativity in the midfield? And because if you look at the XG, it seriously backs it up. Not that I like XG, but it does, give you a good measure of chances created. And he's like, no. We had plenty of creativity. I was chatting to my dad, who obviously watched a lot of him at Wolves, and said he's always been the same with his press conferences. Like, it's like he's watching a different game. Very strange stuff.
His arms crossed.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about the arms crossed. It gets me all into some sort of fit of rage talking about Nuno.
I think he's just keeping himself under control.
Honestly, he's got the same charisma as my left toe. He just stands there. We're losing, and he's just like this. Do something. Honestly, try and psych him up a little bit. No, it makes me so angry. I get really cross. I try and not look at Nuno because it makes me really, really angry. It really pisses me off.
Mrs. HG, did HG Junior have a nickname when he was a kid? That's what I want to know. Why's your hand going over there? That's weird. Oh, he's gone.
Where's he gone?
Where has he gone? He's muted his mother and he's left. What's gone? HG. Okay, well, if in that case, while they're gone, speculate at home. What was HG's nickname as a boy? You can put anything you like. Best one, definitely shouting it out. Definitely shouting it out.
Leader of the opposition.
Oh my gosh, I'm seeing two Miss HG.
This is weird.
Mother HG,
Dave was in a Mrs. HG sandwich.
Mother HG, what's going on? What's he doing?
Now she's on mute.
Now she's on mute. Oh dear, some technical gremlins in the HG household. Never mind. Keep your guesses coming in.
Do you want to bring up Paul Muir's comment for a minute?
I can do. Don't confuse arms crossed with lack of coaching talent. The players know their jobs. We don't need a Pep or Jurgen acting clone. Dave, let's talk, Dave.
I fully agree with Paul's comment, and it's a counter to Shannon's comment. You know, I'm really, you know, the last two managers we had were all about their charisma and the energy and all the rest of it. And I just think it's such. I personally think that what do people want Nuno to do? Throw himself to the floor and beat his fists to the ground. You know, Poch's game management at times left a lot to be desired. He was obviously great at many other things, but you know, and he was crouching like Bielsa in the Man United semi-final by the touchline. Didn't do anything about affecting the outcome. So all this stuff about Nuno and you know, he hasn't got charisma or anything like that. I don't really care. His job is to coach the team. It's tactics, which we can argue whether he's got wrong or not, to motivate the players. We can talk about that as well. But we are where we are with him. And this is what we have at the moment. And this is the situation that we're in. But I just think it's such a misnomer that he doesn't, you know, throw himself to the ground or he doesn't look passionate enough. He cares. It's just people show it in different ways.
I agree. And you can relate to that, can't you, Dave? No doubt.
I wouldn't have a problem if we did any of those things that Dave just listed. If we had any identity as a team, if we were doing anything, or if you could see that some of the work they're doing is paying off on the pitch, it clearly isn't. So when the players clearly aren't warming to him for whatever reason, and I think the fact that he just stands there. Just give him a little something. Give him a little encouragement from the side. I'm not asking for him to run up and down like an idiot, like Pep and Jurgen Klopp. But just give him a little something. Don't just stand there with your arms crossed. Because once he does that, you know it's just going to go to shit. It's like he hasn't got an idea. He hasn't. He looks clueless. He looks so out of his depth. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I don't like the phrase "out of depth," to be honest. I'm glad Mother HG is back because it did look like HG leaned across and like executed your technology. Can you hear me and can we hear you, Mother HG?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh my God, there's more than this. Just HG, what are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. I don't know why it's adding more than one of me. Can we
go back to the question? Can we go back to the question that you asked, Mother
yes,
HG?
I am going that way, Mother HG. Did HG have a nickname as a boy?
Definitely not. That's why I chose the name that he had, so that people couldn't do anything to make any versions of it.
So basically, if my name was David, she didn't want people to call me Dave or Dave-O. And if my name was Thomas, she didn't want me no, Thomas, not Tom. Michael, not Mike.
There was another reason.
And you slagged my son off just then. I'm very offended.
I may have chosen those
and my
names.
middle name, yeah.
Is your other boy called Jackson?
His name's Jack.
Yeah, I know.
There's one other thing. There's an actor who's now no longer around called Lloyd Bridges, and he was very hot to me. So I had that in mind as well.
Because his son, of course, is Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Famous actor. There we go.
Famous actor. There you
and
go.
It was in
That's because it's my age group, you see. So.
Well, there does seem to be some sort of sweepstake going on as to what Mother HG's name is in the comments.
There's a guy that's got it right, but Shan got it right.
I did stalk HG's Facebook prior to.
Oh,
you cheated.
Don't act like you never cheat, HG. And
Well,
Corner
yeah,
can
okay,
definitely
that's a
not
fair
say
point.
anything. So.
That is a fair point.
Not saying anything.
You've got to fake it till you make it. Some people
Exactly.
never get that far.
Absolutely. Davo, the goal. What did you think of Kane's marking? Ability.
Just before we get on to that, Mother HG, my mother also doesn't like me being called Dave or Davo either. So I think there's there's agreement there between the mothers of the cheese room. So the goal, well, they're very good at set pieces. Cresswell is renowned for it. That's one of their tactics. I'm struggling to work out why our leading goal scorer is marking their leading goal scorer on a corner. Isn't that the job of our defenders to do? So I was really struggled with that. He put his boot out to try and get it away. Antonio nipped in. I just don't get it. Old-fashioned man-on-man marking. You get your defender on their striker. So I don't know what happened there.
No, it's very strange. He just sort of wafted a leg at it and just got absolutely nowhere near it. It was very strange. I've got to be honest. But you normally see Mother HG. You normally see Kane defending quite well at corners, if I'm being really honest. So he's a big presence in the air. He doesn't generally let the side down very often at all. Do you think he's got can't be arse-itis at the moment? It just seemed quite lethargic, and that.
I think they all seem lethargic. They're a sort of yard off the pace all the time, whatever game I've watched. And I've watched a lot of games since 1961.
Yeah. But in terms of Kane, he didn't offer anything going forward either. Nothing, did he? Absolutely, literally nothing. And I suppose people are going to talk, and it's just going to rumble on and on and on and on and on until he comes into some kind of form that extends beyond one or two games. It's going to rumble on that he doesn't want to be here. Isn't that right, HG?
Yeah, but I mean, we know he doesn't want to be here, but that doesn't mean that he needs to play the way he has been. But we are making it difficult for him to play well. I mean, I talked about this before. Like, if he gets the ball and he tries to find options, everyone's within 5 or 10 yards of him. Like, we've seen him at his best spreading play out to the wingers or to the fullbacks or people who are out wide. He and Son have a partnership that work, but they've never really worked in close tandem. They're always quite a distance from each other, and they have the ability with their passing range to find each other. We saw it with the goal that Son scored at Newcastle. Kane's on one side of the box and Son's on the other. That's when it works. But when they work, in close proximity, they both struggle. They kind of make the same runs, or they were both coming short. I thought against West Ham, whereas you need one to maybe turn and spin. It just doesn't work. And so, yes, obviously Kane is not scoring the goals that he maybe should or that he can. But I do think some of it is at least down to we're just not creating chances. You can't score if you don't create the chances. We're not shooting from distance. We're not really even trying, and that's painful. I mean, that's probably why it's so bad for Spurs fans to sit there and watch Spurs right now. Is because nothing is really going to happen, and if it does, we're surprised. So it can't be any wonder why Kane isn't really reached that he did do before he came out publicly and said that his brother's a twat.
Well, his brother is a twat, but that's another story and another round of Charlie Kane says. I think one of the things I said on the Friday night show was Ndombele needs to show some form against teams that are a bit better than the likes of Newcastle. He was man of the match against Newcastle. He was almost anonymous, wasn't he, Dave, against West Ham?
Well, I can't really comment. As I said, I only saw the 25-minute highlight package. But, if by all accounts that he didn't consistently show, he's got one of the most important positions in that team. He's the creative outlet. He doesn't have to burden himself with too much defensive duties, which I know is so awful for him to do. But as I said, play him a bit more, try and get as much money out of him as possible and get rid. That's been my view of him. One possible option you could look at is put Kane in the Ndombele role, bring on Hill on the left-hand side and play Son in the middle, and you have a bit more mobility.
I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it, Shan? Your thoughts on Ndombele? We talk about a lack of creativity. That guy's got all the creative ability in the world, but we don't seem to be making anything of it, do we?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'd rather see Gio Lo Celso get a run in the team in his position to see if he can do any better. He hasn't had a fair crack at the whip. I think Ndombele's had long enough now.
Can I say something here? I work in HR, and one of the things about people getting them to work well in their job and understanding their job is getting into their heads. And I don't believe anybody at Tottenham Hotspur spends any time building the confidence with these guys in their heads to say that they're good at what they do and what they can do. And Dele Alli is a prime example of that. And now others are following the same suit. There's nobody there building any kind of knowledge about what makes individual players tick. And I think it's just, they lose their confidence, and we, the fans, get on their back. You're on the back when you're on social media. You're on their back when they're in the game. There's nobody giving them any kind of support.
Yeah,
it does work in jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to give people confidence, otherwise, they can't perform.
What about Harry Winks then?
Exactly.
Harry Winks? Oh, he needs to just fuck off and get a new club. That guy doesn't need confidence. I want to break that man's confidence if it wasn't already broken. He's useless. He's sub-useless. He's the worst player I've ever seen in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. And I include...
What?
I include Eric Lamela in that.
Oh,
no.
He's terrible.
I'd say Doherty's worse than Harry Winks.
Holly. I was listening to Holly's show earlier. She's got this blow up Harry Winks thing that she always loves Harry Winks, and it's now got a paper bag over its head, which couldn't be more appropriate. Holly, shout out to you. Let's not talk Winks. You're only going to.
Can I come back on Mother HG's point, if that's all right?
Can.
Well, firstly, it was lovely to hear a real caring, empathetic sentiments there, which we don't kind of get from your son. So that's good to hear from Mother HG. I think the thing about, you cited Dele Alli and things like that. I mean, everyone likes to peddle the narrative of the dark, horrible days of Jose Mourinho, where he ruined everybody's confidence and it was all so terrible. Look what he did to Bale. And then if you look at like Man United, and we'll leave aside his performances this season, the narrative of Luke Shaw at Man United was that he was almost destroyed under Mourinho, and he's been allowed to blossom under Ole. And look at him now, apart from the last few weeks and the weekend. Who can we name in the current squad that has broken from the tyranny and the shackles of Jose Mourinho and gone on to be really good since he's left? Who's playing like that? I think the players need to take responsibility for themselves. I really do. Nuno is known as a training ground coach. That's what he does. That's where his strengths are, apparently. There's too many players at that club who are robbing a living. Okay. And at least Winks came out and in that interview he did this week where he did take responsibility for his own performances and then said he's in the second tier. It's very tough. You need to take responsibilities. GLC looks good every week because, of course, he's not playing. And when someone's not playing, they look better, apart from in the Europa. But you put him in, I still, put him into the Ndombele role. I still think you get the same result. I just don't think that GLC, Ndombele and Ali are good enough. And they've got to go.
So what made Dele good enough back when he was good?
Son. He played the Son role. He had Wanyama and Dembele behind him. He had
other players made him good.
Yeah, he had Eriksen, and we had a lot of players in that team. I mean, Eriksen, obviously, we really like Eriksen, but when in the big games where the going got tough, he never took a game by the scruff of its neck and changed it. If the team were playing well, Eriksen played well, and I think the same applies for Dele as well. It's just I don't think that. He's not kicked on, and I think he needs to move on. It's all this kind of, I think Jose did put his arm around his shoulders to start with, Dele's brother, and all that kind of stuff. And he got a reaction out of him to start with, but he's fallen off a cliff. And I think he has to take responsibility for his own performances.
I don't believe that football managers are good man managers in terms of players' heads. I just don't believe that. they might know about tactics and how to how players work together, but not individual getting into that person. A lot of these guys have problems, not to us because they earn extortionate amounts of money, but they still have problems. And if that tiny thing, whatever it is not working and they're not listened to, or nobody even asks them the question, you've got no way of finding it out.
So what you're saying is that if someone at the club went to them and gave them a story about when they were at school and how it applies to that situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm amazed that there isn't. I looked through job titles at Tottenham yesterday online, and I can't find anything around the sort of role that I would be thinking. They've got fancy job titles, but nobody that's actually talking to players on their confidence levels in that way that gets to them on a one-to-one. I think other clubs do.
Yeah, I mean, look, Keith Birkinshaw, and we're talking late 70s, early 80s, 40 odd years ago, he had a sports psychologist in at the club, and he was seen as revolutionary and well ahead of his time there. So some clubs and some teams do have sports psychologists. I know the England cricket team have got a lot around that as well. We don't seem to have had that in the last couple of regimes at Tottenham. I think with football managers, there are football managers who are good motivators, who do know how to get the extra out of a player. Poch. One could argue Graham Potter. One could argue what Moyes is doing at West Ham. And then you look at and someone like Klopp, Pep, they kind of create the cult around them, but you're in the cult and you're with me, and brings it all together. A bit like what Cloughy did back in the day as well. So I do think that there are managers who are good motivators, who do get the extra out of them. We saw that with Poch, we saw that with Redknapp. It just depends on who you have. It may be that our man doesn't have that, but as I keep saying, we've dealt with the cards we've dealt with in the situation when we appointed him.
But you talk, Dave, about getting all these players that have got to go. If they all went, who are we going to get in? Because you won't get perfect players to fit all those positions at once.
I'm having that HG lineage kind of argue with me, the family tree. Like, they're all ganging
if you speak bollocks, that's what happens.
They're ganging up on me.
There are 100 people watching you speak bollocks, Dave, and only 54 likes. Now, 100 likes, HG, he's smug face. He's going to do the I told you so jig.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. Dave put it on the run sheet, so it must be true. So let's get to 100 likes if you want to see HG dance. There you go. Potter has a degree in psychology. I mean,
there you go.
I did call for him in all summer, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, there's so many comments to get through.
I mean, the point is about the players and things like that is that the cards that Nuno has been dealt with is that the squad that we have is not currently fit for purpose of what we need to do. We don't have a second striker. Our midfield options, we don't have. You've got. I think everyone thought that Skip would come in and rotate with Højbjerg, and they're playing together. Now that works well and protecting our defence against teams that are going to go attack us. But when they sit back and block, which is what I hear, I understand that West Ham did on the weekend, we're going to find it harder to break down. So over the summer, I was saying that we need to get a different kind of midfield player in. We all wanted Sissoko to go, and we all wanted Winks to go, and that hasn't happened. So we are dealt with the cards that we have at the moment. We don't have Nuno has got a squad that is not good enough at the moment, and Paratici's just come in. He'll need another 1 to 2 to 3 windows to sort that out. Whether Nuno's there by the end of that, who knows?
It's a fair chance. It's a fair shout. It's a fair shout. Pochettino absolutely was a great manager at getting more out of people. That's why we ended up challenging for the league, if I'm being really honest, because some of those players are not world beaters. You try telling me Wanyama is a world beating midfielder, but he became this beast for sort of a season and a half because I think he had the confidence instilled in him from Pochettino. Delhi as well, massive confidence player, as you pointed out. All true. Dave-O, Jamie O'Hara said Son and Kane went missing. What's your thoughts on that?
Jamie O'Hara's making a living out of what on TalkSport, honestly.
He couldn't play football, so he had to do something.
We're aligned. At last we're agreed, Mother HG and myself. Yeah, I mean, Jamie O'Hara is, what has he got to say on the subject? He's on TalkSport. I mean, when I think Seb said it on a pod recently, whenever we're on, to be in sport, the global broadcast of the Premier League. So if you live abroad, you obviously don't get the Sky or the BT commentary. And pound to a penny, the co-commentator is always aligned with the opposing team or a gooner. And what do we get on TalkSport? Jamie O'Hara. Can someone sort that out, please?
We'll have a word with Majestic and see what he can do. He's on there after time.
What I'd like them to sort out is a red button so we don't have to listen to the pundits. And we have, like we had in the South Africa World Cup, where you can shut them down and you're just part of the crowd that are there watching the game. Much better. Save a lot of money too.
So TalkSport have got Jamie O'Hara and Darren Bent, two players from the Spurs Hall of Fame. I know that Darren Bent's HG's favourite.
Darren Bent, wow, he was a player, wasn't he?
Sometimes.
Record transfer fee as well, I think, at the time. It's another record transfer fee that worked out really well. Right, let's grasp the nettle that is Nuno. So I want each of you's view on this. Should he stay or should he go? Is this the time for change right now? Or are we stuck with the bearded wonder for another, 6 months at least, really? Do we keep him or do we stick or twist? Shan, let's talk to you first.
Stick or twist.
I don't think we've got any option at the moment but to stick with him. And unless there was a viable replacement that we know would come in and start to get a tune out of these players, I just don't see the point in sacking him. Who are we going to bring in? Mason?
So you're going
we might play better football, but he'll be playing all his mates again, which means Harry Winks gets back in the starting 11 caller.
We don't want that.
So yeah, it's one of those where it's awful, and it's probably not going to get much better. But at the moment, we haven't got any other option. It took 75 days to get Nuno in place. So what are we going to do if we sack him? There's not exactly a lot of decent managers that are out of jobs at the minute, and you've got the whole Ollie potentially getting sacked at United after El Sakiko on Saturday. So obviously El Sakiko. So Conte will probably go to United very shortly. And then who else is there? I think a lot of us. I know there's a lot of Graham Potter love. Yeah, I'd love Poch back, but I'm going to talk as if it's not going to happen.
No, Cola, I thought you were pointing at my mum for a second. Do you want her to do the job?
She could probably do a better job.
Better than Nuno, I've no doubt.
No, but I think Potter would be a good option. I think Ten Hag, but they're both in jobs. They're not going to leave mid-season. So I think we either just chuck this season away and get someone in.
How does anybody know who we didn't try and get Potter before? Yeah. We went late for this guy. We must be trying for others.
Yeah, I mean, no one really knows. That's the answer, isn't it? Only Daniel Levy knows that, and unfortunately,
was it 04-05 the season where we had Hoddle to begin with, and then we sacked him pretty early on, and then had Date as the caretaker the rest of the season, and Levy had 9 months, 9 months to then go out and find someone, and it turned out to be who was it? Santini. At the end of, So if you're thinking of a caretaker manager, because that's what it would be, right? Because I don't think you'd get anyone decent to come in mid-season. I don't think they would leave their clubs, and the good ones that we know who are unemployed probably wouldn't choose Spurs right now, especially with the Man United job also probably available on the horizon, and the Newcastle job might be more fun for someone. I don't know. I just think that if it's going to be a caretaker, then who? That's what you're looking at. And if it's going to be a caretaker for the next 9 months, well, then okay. Is it Ryan Mason? Is it someone with a Tottenham history like Martin Jol? Would that help the club do better this season? Because that's what it is. It's going to be a case of, if you do think Nuno is the wrong guy, then what is wrong about him? And then you find someone who has those characteristics that you think are missing. That seems to be the obvious thing. Like I called for Martin Jol to be. When Mourinho got sacked, I thought for the end of the season it would be nice because it's some kind of, he does know the club, he does love the club, and people warm to him. Like, I don't know anyone my age who thinks that Martin Jol is a terrible person. They all loved him as a bloke. Yeah, okay, as a manager, he probably wasn't what we might want right now, but are we trying to get the feel-good factor back at the club? You know, the fans are talking about how they don't enjoy watching Spurs. They don't want to pay the money to go and watch Spurs. Like, maybe someone who just said, right, off you go, lads, effing run around a bit, like Harry Redknapp style, would get people motivated and would get people behind the club once more.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Big Sam, no. Pint of vodka, no. I don't know, because like, I'm with Shan. Like, to me, you don't sack Nuno unless you have someone lined up. I don't think we'd have anyone long-term lined up because I don't think they'd join Spurs right now. So it has to be a caretaker option.
Okay. I just want to float this one. Normally, Dave, I'm coming to you next on Nuno. But normally, this man, the accountant, Mr. Diver, he's normally very sort of chilled on stuff like this. But he needs to go. 1 goal to 10 in London derbies and no plan. My cat would manage the team better. Dave.
I never thought I'd see a comment like that from Steve Diver.
I mean, that means it's bad. Steve is getting controversial. Dave, over to you.
You know, Steve Diver's interesting. You know, he and lots of people go, when I discuss the fact that I want Enoch out and I get well, who do you want to get in then? Then I'm saying, well, you want to get Nuno out. Who do you want to get in then? Well, hang on. When you want to get Nuno out, and who are we going to get in now? Gov makes a very good point. Paratici has made the footballing decision to appoint Nuno as the manager, and we are only 9 games into this, so we stick by him. There's no other option. There's no one out there. Potter, by all accounts, didn't want to come, as Paul's saying.
One account, to be fair. One account, and I think the Daily Mirror. So,
well, I think the Athletic commented on it as well. I don't think that he wanted to come. He took one look at it and said, no, thanks. He's building something there. And and I think HG made a good point around the fact that he would create Liverpool kind of Fenway group kind of manager if Klopp goes. I don't think Potter would get a Chelsea or a Man City big egos job. I think that's his advancement there if he continues to do what he's doing. So Nuno's in. As I've said on here before, the options at the time were Gattuso and Zorro. So it's not going to work. So we're stuck with who we've got now. He dealt with the Kane situation well. The transfer window was okay. I'd say it was a 5 out of 10 transfer window. And this is what we have now. So we get rid of him. I mean, we're all going into yesterday's heroes. Bring back Jol for the feel-good factor. He hasn't really succeeded in management since he left Tottenham. Bring back Harry. He's on reality TV shows. Klinsmann's on the phone to Levy. He lasted, 30, 40 days at Schalke? These are all we're all in the romantics. Oh, they were good for us, etc., etc. Bring them back. Let's be realistic here. We have to stick with Nuno. Unless things go cataclysmically wrong, then he stays.
I've got just the man for the job.
Go on.
Just bring Charlie Kane in while we're at it.
Right, HG, let's go to you next. Potter. Potter? Nuno. I'm fantasizing about Potter. Nuno.
No, I mean, I think I just said it. Like, I agree with Shan. Like, Nuno is going to be around because there are really no other options. So, but I don't love how we're playing. I don't love the football we're playing. But, that's not going to change. I mean, that's what has to change. But the manager himself probably won't change. No.
Okay, Mother HG. To play devil's advocate. Okay, Nuno's going to stay in the job a bit longer. At what point does his position become untenable and Levy, forced to act, or Paratici forced to act?
God, I think he's gonna. They've got to start winning games in a row, consecutive games. If they don't do that, 2 or 3 more, and then you're going to have to say go. You can't have him. He's going to have no confidence. And all the staff and everybody else won't have any confidence in him. But it doesn't matter what he'll say after they just want him gone. that it'll be better to have Ryan, who is a waste, but it's just somebody who's into Tottenham. You can't have him there.
No,
we'll never get better.
No, I suppose, Dave. But just you were quite firm on the Nuno in bit, really. What does he have to do to get the sack then?
To get the sack?
Yeah, I mean, how long is this going to be tolerated for? As Steve pointed out, it's 1 goal for, 10 against. He's played 4 London derbies, and we've not looked in 4 London derbies. We've not just been beaten; we've been mauled.
Mm-hmm. So where are we at the moment? 6th after 9 games. So some pundits, probably Jamie O'Hara, thinks that after the 10 games, that kind of gives the league position of where things are. So I think if it's for him to get sacked, we don't qualify out of the Europa Conference League. We get knocked out on Wednesday. We lose to United. Who we got after United? Everton. We lose to United. We lose to Everton. We're sinking down the table. Something like that.
So in other words,
it's got to go cataclysmic, and that is don't get through the Conference League. His objective for the season is to get us into the Europa for next season. That's his objective.
Do we know that? Have we heard him say what any objective is? I haven't heard him say anything.
No.
He's never said anything in confidence to make any fan think he has any plan.
My opinion, being a realistic kind of person that I am, is that the aim for the season would be get us into the Europa. Top 6, top 7 finish in the Europa. Nice cup run to get us all excited. And that's where we are as a club now. I mean, I hate to say it. We're not going to get in the Champions League anytime soon.
But don't you think, Dave, he should be saying that? He should be saying that so we can all hear it. The fans, the team, everybody. And he's not. He's not saying anything.
Yeah, but I think
after West Ham game, I didn't watch it. I just watched him, and he said we had a good game. We lost. The idea is we're in it to win it, not just to turn up and have a good game.
Yeah, but there's plenty of managers over the years who give a press conference and they're seeing a game completely different to what the rest of us are. I remember
like Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
let's be honest, that weren't good either.
Yeah, but I remember El Tel. We went out to Main Road one year. They're all over us. We snatched a 1-1 draw, and he said that we were on top of them. What? I was there. No, that's not quite the case. Loads of managers do that. Wenger never saw anything ever. That's the way the managers do it. I'm not bothered about that at all. Again, what do we look? We're all looking for charisma after Mourinho and Poch and Harry and all the rest.
No, just looking for honesty.
Well,
honesty and confidence. Confidence breeds confidence. If he doesn't actually say we're going out to win this game and this is what my plan is, I want to go for this cup or whatever. He's not saying any of that. He's saying nothing. Absolutely nothing.
He certainly does have a PR problem, Mr. Espirito Santo. He doesn't really like press conferences, I don't think. So he doesn't.
Life's a bitch.
Yeah,
we all have jobs we do, and there's all bits of jobs we don't like doing. Unfortunately, you get the whole job, you get the whole package of money, so you have to deal with it all. And there is going to be somebody there who is a communications expert, so they need to be able to show him how to deliver his messages. I'll help.
There was actually, but he left.
He did leave, yeah. I could hear HG then. I could literally. Martin,
whatever this smug face is that you want, I was probably doing it listening to my mum just then. That was pretty cool.
We got 63 likes, HG. So 116 people watching, 63 likes. Come on, there's enough people in this room right now to hit the like button. And Mother HG, there's enough people to hit the like button and get HG to do a dance.
What does Mother HG is a G?
G means like gangster, like means you're cool. You like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Mother HG is right though. Like if if he wants to stay in a job at the end of the day, like Jose had one thing on his side, and that's that fans weren't inside the stadium. Fans in the stadium watching football like that aren't going to tolerate it for too long. And if Nuno alienates the fans and the fans aren't on his side, he's just making his life more difficult for himself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, if you go back to the season when AVB was fired, right? Like we had a few terrible results, but we won quite a lot of games as well. I think it was like 7 wins, 5 defeats. We were 7th or something in the league, but approaching Christmas. But he went because people were bored of the football. And they didn't like his relationship with Levy, or he didn't like his relationship with certain players. And I think, like obviously, if it goes that far, and we're out of we were still in the Carling Cup, I think, when AVB got fired because Tim Sherwood's first game was losing to West Ham. I just, that to me seems about the time. If things are still going wrong November, December, Christmas time, and nothing is improving in relationships, then I think he might get the bullet. But until then, it will be hoping that, I think as Gov said, these tactics need to stick. Footballers need to learn to do different things. Sometimes I think it's a shame that we want them to learn different things when they've got to the level they're at doing one particular thing. Maybe in the case of someone like Beckham, it was only one thing he was really, really good at, but it was so good that it didn't matter. It would be nice to see people playing maybe in the roles that they became a Premier League player by doing.
This is an interesting point by Gov. How long does it take for a new tactic to stick, Shan? Are we being really impatient with Nuno? I mean, it took 2 years, arguably, and a 5-1 thrashing by Spurs themselves for Klopp to get Liverpool playing the way he wanted them to play. There's very few managers that take over and make an instant impact. Do you think maybe it's too early for this talk and we're just having a little bit of a hissy fit right now?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both. I think with Klopp's Liverpool, you could sort of see what he was trying to do. I don't think that they were boring to watch, Liverpool. I don't like that. That's half the problem, right? We're not creating anything. If you don't create, you're not going to score goals. And if you don't score goals, you're not going to win football matches. So, yeah, it's difficult because he hasn't had a lot of time, but some of the decisions he's making aren't helping.
Yeah.
So I agree with HD. I think the decision to leave the whole starting 11 at home for Vitesse was a massive mistake. It was a big gamble, and it's a gamble that didn't work. We're now sat in third, and we're leaving. We should have enough to get the job done, but we shouldn't be in this position in the first place. We shouldn't be 3 games in and be sat in third in the Europa Conference League.
We're up
a
to
team
60.
that we as fans will think we're above, by the way. So clearly we're not. If we can't win matches with in the Europa Conference League, it's an absolute farce. We've won 1 game against Mura, who no one had ever heard of before.
We're third in the group now, aren't we?
We're third in the group, and we're at risk of not qualifying at all.
Well, he's just, I don't know if he's gone to get his dancing shoes on HG, but there are 69 likes. There's 120 odd people watching. Hit the like button. I want to see HG do his smug face dance as much as possible. We get to 100 likes, and that is exactly what happens. So please do smash that like button. If you're new, thanks for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button. We've got 2 more shows coming this week. We've got the watch along with Shannon on Wednesday, which will be such a fun show, watching us take the trip to Burnley up north near Shan, and then obviously we've got the Friday night preview show where we're all back here to discuss the weekend's massive fixture at Man United. But before we get to that, there's plenty more to enjoy.
Can I just add to my point as well? Because Born to Lose just basically carried on here. So it's not just about the football being dismal, it's the game management as well. We're not proactive at all. We're making subs in the 83rd, 84th minute or not at all when we're losing football matches.
The one that got me, Shan, was Bergwijn in the 90th minute. In the 90th minute.
And we've missed Bergwijn as well. It's when Bergwijn got injured that we stopped winning football matches.
I mean, that's debatable, but
you could argue there's a correlation there, and I think Bergwijn was looking good at the start of the season. He was.
He didn't play against Villa or Newcastle, but anyway, the point I'm making is that 90th minute. That's crazy time to make a substitution. HG, you're our top analyst at the Cheese Room. Where's the logic in that? Can you defend that?
No. I mean, you want to win the game if it's not working, and like I mean, again, people can see when it's not working. People can see which players aren't playing well. Like lots of fans at half time are saying, "I would try and change this and do this, or maybe do something different."
This as well.
Substitutions are a massive part of the game, and it's not just about in the game. It's also thinking longer term. So I mean, we know that in the Conference League games you can make 5 subs. So that would be a good time to make 5 subs. If you want to give players minutes, use those options. It's there for you to do so. Yeah, especially if we're 1-0 down and we've got a bunch of kids, then yeah, you're not going to bring on anyone more than Markanday because it's not an improvement. But unfortunately, like good managers, I think, will use those options wisely and will understand which players, will know which players have played a lot recently, which players are struggling. To me, like all the information and all the data that's available for these people now it needs to be used. That we can talk about statistics being not really. I don't like the assist statistic. Caller doesn't like XG, but the point is, it is still information, and what you do with it is then how useful it becomes. And you look at it and you think, well, are they looking at information? Like how are they making these decisions? Is it based on what happened on a wet Tuesday in September, or is it based on what they're seeing? Is it based on what they think works? Well, unfortunately, when you're watching it from afar, there is no obvious reason as to why we're seeing what we're seeing, and that's why it's so frustrating. Because I watch a lot of football. I watch more than probably most. That doesn't mean I know more. It just means I watch more. But you get to see patterns after a while, and you see what successful managers do and how they do it. And Nuno isn't doing those things, and Mourinho didn't really do those things. You know, football has changed from when Mourinho was really successful. We talked about that 6 months ago. It's like, look at what's happening, look at what's working, and then try to either imitate it or improve on it. And we're not doing either of those things. And that's why it becomes really frustrating, because like we know that there are other things that can be done and maybe should be done.
I thought when you went off camera, I thought you'd gone to get some clogs or something, because we're up to 73 likes. Come on the like button, hit it. We're nearly at that magic 100 number, so please do.
How long are we going to have to do the show for to get to 100? We're going to be here till like 3 a.m.
Oh, it could be. You never know. To be fair, I mean, we're only 27 likes away. That's not a lot. We can do this. We can smash this. There's 123 people watching now. 123 people watching. If everyone here hit the like button, HG would be on the dance floor, and I think we all want to see him bust some moves tonight. Speaking of busting some moves, should we bust Kane out of the side, Mother HG? He's been pretty ineffective. There's lots of calls on the Twitter sphere to drop Kane. There's quite a lot of hatred for Kane, actually, if I'm being really honest. Probably, all due to the preseason antics. But would you drop him?
There's too much hate in the world at the moment about some really silly things. Kane isn't a silly thing, but I think Nuno has to speak to him. I don't think Nuno speaks to anybody in the team. He doesn't speak to the rest of his management staff on the side of the pitch. You don't see him saying when something's gone on that he doesn't like, he doesn't go and talk to them about what they're going to do and substitutes. I don't think he talks to anybody, so I don't think he'll talk to Kane. And he's not going to have the right comments to say to Kane. I don't think he's in line with the players.
Well, there have been stories leaked out, isn't there, that the players find him distant and he doesn't really communicate too much.
After the game at West Ham, that's the only part I saw, him talking to the screen, and he stood there. Okay, he's had his arms folded down here, but we kept doing this, as if somebody was going to creep up behind him and start talking to him.
And the Jerry Francis nod.
It's weird. And we played well, having lost the game.
I've got to answer this. Is Kane still a flat track bully? This goes back to a conversation me and Paul had 12 months ago. Yes, because he delivered Newcastle and he's been shit ever since. Kane is not going to be dropped, reading in the comments. I don't think Kane is going to be dropped. The question is, would you drop Kane? Shan,
no.
You're nodding your head. Okay, thanks, Mother HG. Shan, you're nodding your head.
I'd rather see Son, Lucas, and Bergwijn.
It worked first game of the season, didn't it? Man City.
It
We
worked.
played fantastic. Well, it worked against Wolves as well.
It worked against Wolves as well. I just think how I know he's Harry Kane, but no name's bigger than the club. Drop him for a couple of games, see if he gets his attitude together. If not, then see ya.
Yeah, like if
We're not scoring goals with him playing, so what have we got to lose? He's not doing anything.
Or
He
you drop
literally
him
offers nothing.
Well, or you drop him into the hole, don't you? When Ndebele's playing potentially. I'm sorry, HG, you were coming in.
No, I just think that, I mean, if you're looking at dropping Kane right now, obviously Burnley wouldn't be too much of a big call because are we going to take the Carabao seriously? I mean, we should, but that it would be less of an issue to put him on the subs bench for that. Same with the Vitesse game, right? Even though we might need a win, leave him on the bench, see what happens, and he can come on and hopefully change things like he did against Mura. The issue is then the United game because that's the league game that's next. And if he drops him for that, it causes all man.
Oh, that's a scary place to freeze, isn't it?
He's
He is.
He
Are
is.
they both frozen?
HG.
They've both frozen.
I can see Mother
We're
HG
back.
blinking.
Oh,
Sorry, we're back now. Yeah,
You're
I
mid-flow.
guess
You're mid-flow.
Yeah, the Austrian one.
I hope this doesn't happen during your dance.
If you drop Kane for the Man United game, it means that it will just produce so much rubbish for the club to have to deal with. Drop him for Burnley, people can say, the media will be like, okay, fair enough, makes sense. Same with the Vitesse. But if you drop him for the Man United game, the media will be all on Spurs and Nuno for that call, especially if it doesn't work. So people talk about me doing the I told you so dance because I was proven right last week. That the media would not let that go. And it would all be about, well, where's Kane going to go in January? And we will have another 2 months of dealing with that. So if they do decide to drop him, it will matter for the club. It's not just a case of, well, we drop Kane because he's not playing well, and that would be the end of it. It won't be that. So I personally, if you're going to drop him, then the Burnley game makes a bit of sense, but you might need him because it's, set pieces. I mean, granted, the West Ham game doesn't help that call, but that is something that we know he's good at. If he's at the front post, he heads things away. We know that. Burnley are a bit of a set piece team. That we know that too. So I don't know. I'm not sure there's a right answer here, but clearly he doesn't deserve to be in the team week in, work out on how he's playing. And so if and when you make that call, we have to think about when to do it and what is best for the club in that sense.
I have to say, there's now 83 likes. We are closing in on that number and seeing HG, Donny's clogs.
Better start your stretches.
Davo, we can hear you beautifully tonight. Yeah, limber up, HG. We can hear you beautifully tonight with your new microphone. What's your thoughts on Kane? Would you drop him?
Not at the moment. As I said earlier in the show, why not put him in the Ndombele / Ericsson role? Put Heel on the left, Son in the middle, Moore or Bergwijn on the right. I think Moore and Bergwijn on here tonight in the comments section. I think everyone's being very charitable about them. Moore missed a decent chance in the first half of the West Ham game. My expectation, if we're going to play the three up top, is that you've got the players on either side of Kane contributing goals. We know Son does. That's a fact. But Bergwijn and Mora's finishing leaves a lot to be desired. Mora, obviously one night in Amsterdam, good performance at Old Trafford away. He misses too many chances. He runs down alleyways that only I know. Well, no one knows where he goes, and his distribution is poor. Interesting about Mora, he played well under Mason in that number 10 in the whole position last year, but he's not a decent finisher. He's like a Brazilian Paul Walsh, and it's always just unlucky. Mora's unlucky there. So I think that I would try Heel. Maybe the couple of things I'd try: Kane up top, put Hill on the left and Son on the right, or swap them over, or put Kane in the Ndombele role and see where we got to. Just try something a bit different. But I wouldn't drop him at the moment. And I agree with HG. It was a bit like all those years ago when Gullit dropped Shearer for a game. The whole media went nuts for it, and Gullit was sacked. And we don't need that at the moment.
Well, if Nuno gets sacked, we might need it.
Can I just get back? So I think it's Tommy G in the comments was giving the impression that I think Kane is bigger than the club. I don't think that. But I think the club needs to understand that Kane is a massive part of our club, and the media won't let it go. If you drop him for the Man United game, no one will be talking about Nuno. No one will be talking about the game. They'll only be talking about Kane and when he leaves in January.
Yeah, no. He's got some real gremlins in the system over at HG Towers. Can someone get a screen grab of that? That's a great face. Here he is. He's back.
Sorry. I don't know why it's doing it. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, like Kane is not bigger than the club, but we have to understand what he brings to the club. And it will bring attention if we decide to drop him for the United game. That would be a bad call. But the Burnley game that apparently people don't seem to worry too much about, or the Vitesse game, where if we lose that, we're probably out of Europe. So that one may be like they're all important now. So when do you do it? When is the best time? Probably, if it was me, I'd be thinking Vitesse. But then it's not exactly dropping him. It's more a case of, well, you can take the night off and you can always dress it up as that. But I just think that if you go out there and say that you're dropping Kane for a massive game against a team that are also under massive pressure, it's just not a thing that Spurs should be considering right now.
Yeah, and Phil Ambrose has also got his incredibly smug face on tonight. If only there had been an experienced, quality, homegrown Premier League striker to act as backup for a reasonable fee, then we might be able to drop Kane up. I wonder who's yeah, absolutely.
Good point.
Well, it's only a good point if Danny Ings would have signed for us, which is probably quite doubtful, but never mind. We move on.
Danny Ings was all about the money. If Spurs were going to offer him 150 grand a week like Villa did, then he probably would have come. But I'm not sure we would have.
Now, with all the talk of doom and gloom, and there is a lot of it at the moment, it would only be responsible for me to point out we are in 6th place in the league. We've got Manchester United next weekend, who are having a few problems of their own. Is 4th place wide open? HG.
Yeah. Until Antonio Conte shows up at United, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's wide open, but not for Spurs. I think we're only a point above 12th or 11th. It's that tight in mid-table. Arsenal are a point behind us. So
that just means that also means it's wide open. If the team in 12th is only a point behind 6th.
Well, yeah, but we lose against United and we start to fall down the table, and we're the only team in the top half of a minus goal difference as well. What's that all about?
Well, we haven't scored enough goals. It's as simple as that.
We've conceded a lot of goals as well. So
there you go. We're 2 points off top 4.
Hey.
Yeah, and it is absolutely King Hovel in the house, the El Sakiko derby, and I'm just thankful I can't go to the United game.
I'm Steve, the only one going, aren't I?
My heart bleeds for you, Steve, lapping up that Tunnel Club hospitality. Yeah, never mind.
I am the only one going.
All right, don't worry about it. No, you're not, because I think Paul Muir's there. I think there are other people there. If you're going in the comments, shout it out in the comments if you're going to that game. Obviously, I'm not, because you've got my ticket. So
I'm in my seat. I'm in the seat more than you are. A lot more than you are.
Well, yeah, like 100% more than I am so far this season. Let's talk about something else then. Oh God, you put this in the run sheet just because you know I can't say it properly, Dave. But Vitesse Arnhem lost. Does this make you happy or sad, HG?
Well, sad because they're my Dutch team, so I want them to do well in Dutch football. I didn't want them to do well against Spurs, but I lived in Holland. I lived in Arnhem, so they're my Dutch team. I think they lost to a team called Go Ahead Eagles, which is a very Dutch name, right?
Go Ahead Eagles, yeah.
Go Ahead Eagles from the town of Deventer. So it's not too far from Arnhem, pretty much a local derby. But yeah, I wasn't happy, but that's the answer. No, I wasn't happy.
There you go, Dave. You've got your answer. I like the way you ask questions indirectly through me. It's like having a middleman, isn't it?
Like a Machiavellian thing I have.
Right, let's talk Man United briefly. So the M1 was full of despondent Surrey residents heading south on Sunday night. Do you think Ollie is a goner, Mother HG? Do you think he's a goner? He's had a
No.
long time there now.
No, because I just think they think he will come true in the end. And he's probably
Which is
got
a
Alex.
good thing for
He's
everyone
probably got
else.
Alex Ferguson's back in as well. I think they'll hang on longer than we will.
So deluded then. HG, you agree with your mum?
No, in this case, I don't. I think United have got a bit more sense. Like I've always felt that after they sacked Ferguson, that don't look at me like that. I always feel that like
Give him a clip round the ear. Give him a clip round the ear.
When United sacked Ferguson, it seems to be that they've said if you don't qualify for the Champions League the following season, you're out. Okay, and so when David Moyes, when it was no longer possible to be in the Champions League the following season, they sacked him. And when Van Gaal, he got to the FA Cup final, so he made that, managed that game, but they weren't in the Champions League, so he got sacked.
Has he gone again?
He's gone again.
Did he say United sacked Ferguson, or was it my imagination?
He did say that.
Yeah, he's back. United
No,
didn't
I didn't say United sacked Ferguson. I said
No.
after United.
After.
Oh, I might have said sacked, but after Ferguson retired. Yeah, but that's
Retired,
the
sacked.
deal. Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you're talking with losers, you'd end up anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I make mistakes just like everyone else, just fewer. So look, the situation is, but I think United, they should sack him. We all know they should sack Ollie. Like they're going nowhere. I saw a video today of the Liverpool fans shouting Ollie's at the wheel, like basically just taunting the United fans for a long time. That has to stick. He's got to go. So but yeah, it would be better. It would be better if he stays around, because we all know that he's holding them back.
I'm not. I'm honestly not pressing. I'm not pressing. It's tempting sometimes, but I'm genuinely not. There's 87 likes now. We're 30.
It's not going to happen. There's a time limit for this. You've got 14 minutes for 13 likes.
We've got loads of time. We get 13 likes in 14 minutes. We can do that. There's 135 people watching right now, HG.
Well, we'll see if they can do it.
I want to see you do the locomotion.
The time is going.
Dave, your view on Ollie? Will he be at the wheel this weekend? I guess he will. But how?
I think he'll probably be at the wheel this weekend. But I would be very unsurprised. No, sorry. United will be talking to Conte now. I'm sure of it. I mean, some of the commentary around the press is that they don't want another incendiary manager like Van Gaal or Mourinho, but Conte is the best manager available at the moment. He will get a budget. He will need to work out how to use wing backs with Wan-Bissaka. He's going to have to change the system around. But Ollie's gone. He's dead man walking. Fergie was slagging him off to some wrestler or something on social media. I don't know, Giant Haystacks, no idea. I don't know. It was on social media apparently. And he's gone. He's gone. What was quite amusing was watching Fergie's reaction in the director's box and Kenny Dalglish. They were doing Kenny Dalglish grinning and laughing away, and Fergie looking very upset, which was very amusing. So, Gary Neville.
Was it better than seeing Anton Deck's reaction the previous week?
No, Anton Deck was brilliant because old Anton Deck, laughing away with the new owners behind, and then they were 3-1 down within seconds. Brilliant, love that. So that wasn't as good, but I think Ollie's gone. He's he's repaired the culture of the club after the way that obviously awful Mourinho and Van Gaal destroyed everybody and everything. They got their United back. Rio Ferdinand signed the contract. Ollie. Gary Neville supporting Ollie apparently in the Sky game on the weekend. He's very interesting, Gary Neville. He didn't have an issue with the Newcastle takeover. He had an issue with the European Super League, and he's backing Ollie. So he's a man of many contradictions, is Gary.
I mean, this is a good point. Will they give a new manager more money at United? They've already spent they've got £1 billion squad or something, and it is literally that in the squad valuation. They've spent an enormous amount of money. Is there any more to spend? Would Conte go there for that?
Well, I think they'll either get a Calvin Phillips or a Declan Rice, or maybe even a cheeky bid for Shannon's favourite Danish player at the club. They need a proper midfield player, and
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not happening.
could happen. It could
No.
happen. I think that they need to sort that out. They need to sort the midfield out, and once they do that, then they should be fine.
They need to get rid of Pogba.
Well, he's certainly a bit of a poison, isn't he, by the look of it? But I
Poison
think
chalice.
Pogba might get rid of himself the way he's going. I think, you know, he's only on the pitch 13 minutes, wasn't it? The other, or he's sent off, wasn't
That
he?
was a terrible tackle.
Just
Foul.
Terrible, yeah, absolutely. Do you think that Norwich are the favourites for promotion next season, Shan?
It's just irritating, isn't it? They boss the Championship every season they're in it, and then when they come up to the Premier League, they're awful, which means they'll probably still beat Spurs. You'll see they'll have no wins, and they'll play Spurs, and then there you go, 3 points.
Dr.
Bob's your
Tottenham will
uncle.
see you now, yeah.
Exactly. It's gonna be one of them. It's
Ollie
very
will
sad.
say it's fantastic. Burnley.
Oh,
Burnley up next. Every time I say Burnley, you melt.
every time I do a watch along, it's just awful.
What's your watch along? What's your watch along record at the moment? How many watch alongs have
Is
you
it
done?
better than Nuno's?
No.
How many games?
The
have you done?
first watch along I did was the Palace game. The less said about that, the better.
Yeah,
Then we did Rennes away.
yeah,
We did the Wolves game, which went to penalties after being 2-0 up.
yeah.
So
So
quite
you-
exciting, that one then.
Great, isn't it?
That was exciting.
You've
But
had one win in
but-
3.
the League Cup, the last round of the League Cup, that was good on pens. I was there. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have got to pens in the first place, caller. We were
Doesn't
2-0
matter.
up and we were
It ga-
bossing the game.
But it
We let
gave
them
us
back
some-
into it.
Gave us some excitement, though, didn't it?
Aye, we don't want excitement.
And
My
then we
heart
did-
can't. My
and then we
heart
did
can't
the
take
right
much
thing.
more. Just score goals and like don't keep leaking them. It's can't take it anymore.
Don't worry, I've had a word with Jack. The defrib's on standby for Wednesday. It'll be fine. So, listen, no win in the league for Burnley. so
Dr.
far.
Tottenham will see you now.
Yeah, tapping on the door. HG, what kind of team do you think Nuno's going to pick for this one? We touched on Kane earlier.
The wrong one.
Probably.
I think he'll do similar to what he did in the last round.
91
that
likes,
will-
by the way, HG.
Yeah.
91 likes.
Okay, they've got 8 minutes. Yeah, like I definitely feel that, you know, I mean, like all of us could pick a team, and to me, it's more about the tactics. You know what Burnley are going to be like. I'm assuming it's going to be bad weather in England because it tends to be, right? So Burnley on a Wednesday night, who knows? It'll be cold, even if it's not wet.
How's the weather up there, Shan?
The weather in
Opposite
New
side of
York,
the country.
in the north, is
Two-
always better than the weather in the south since I moved up.
It's 2.5 hours away from me. I'm in East Midlands, literally 45 minutes from Peterborough.
long
Not
way.
even north.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is it. Like, it's going to be people that you hope will want to be there, right? Who kind of have that never say die attitude, right? And so, even though, you know, Brian isn't the biggest player, he does seem to have that attitude. So I think he should start. It's going to be a tough call because I don't want to see, personally, I don't necessarily want to see Davies. I'd rather see Reguilon play, but I could understand Tanganga being right back if you think that it's going to be a more physical game. But whatever happens, if we play narrow attacking midfielders, my money is on Burnley to win from a set piece, just as we saw against West Ham.
I love your optimism. It's just so refreshing. Dave,
I would love to think. Sorry, but I would love to think that we would go out there and create lots of chances. But I haven't seen it all season. So optimism, I don't know.
Rain all
Rained
day.
all day. There you go. Thanks, Keith. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. And Sam says 2 goals from Burnley from corners or free kicks. Can Spurs score 3?
We
Not
are awful
encouraging.
with set pieces, defending set pieces at the minute. We are really bad.
Do you not think the problem is though that we've got zero attacking threat? So it's almost like when a goal goes in, you think, "Oh shit, where's the goal going to come from?" It's not like we're not free scoring, are we? We okay, we scored 3 against Newcastle. They were the worst side I've seen in a long time.
And we even let them back into it. They only had 1 shot on target, and it was 3-2.
Yeah, but it was a hell of a header from Dyer, wasn't it? I mean,
It's the best goal. I think it's the best goal he's ever scored, isn't it? Just in the wrong net.
No, the best goal he scored was on his debut against West Ham.
Yeah.
I just think that we can do this. We've got to have some positivity. Let's talk to the most positive person in the cheese room, Mother HG.
Hey.
Well, I wasn't going to go to Dave, was I? Let's be honest. It's a choice between you and Dave, Mother HG. You win all day long. He's the voice of doom.
I really do think I'd like to be the manager for that game. Let me have the team for a couple of days and that game. All they've got is everybody. All they've got is everybody being negative 100% of the time.
Well,
we should all be putting personal messages on there, supporting them and getting other people to do the same thing. How would that be a turnaround? How would that happen to the players? What would they think if they saw everybody giving positive messages, supporting? What a shocker.
We need to put Mother HG in charge of the Facebook and Twitter pages.
I agree. So you'd love it. Are you on Twitter, Mother HG?
I'm not actually, no.
Oh, you would love it. You would love it. It's full of positive souls.
Really what do they put on there?
It's just angry rants, basically.
Very,
I handle angry people all the time.
We know
have to get rid of people for their jobs, so you know.
I think HG is quite pleasant, caller. I don't know what you mean.
He's very mellow, actually. He's very mellow. HG, I've got some news for you.
Go on. What are we up to?
Well, I'll tell you now. We're on. Oh, hang on. I'm just getting.
I hit the light to take it up to 95.
He's trying
95. Dave, you had a light your own video. That's shocking. 95. We've got 3 minutes left. Can we get 5 likes in 3 minutes to make HG dance? Come on, hit the like button quick. Right. Do you think the Goons are going to finish above us, Shan? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon, you're just as bad as him.
They're scoring goals and they're not conceding many.
Oh,
that tends to be a recipe for success when you play football: scoring goals and not conceding them.
Wow, I mean, you are just such a happy person. Shan, look, even Craig's booing you.
No, honestly, no one hates Arsenal.
Oh, we've made it. We've made it. 101.
We just need to take a moment to interrupt this Shan rant so HG can do the happy dance. Come on then, HG.
It's the I told you so dance.
So can we repeat once again why I should be doing an I told you so dance? Dave?
The reason why you're doing the I told you so dance, HG, is because last week you ranted about the fact that we totally changed the team for the Vitesse Arnhem game in preparation for our game against West Ham, and how you were very, very, very angry about that. And as your mother just said, she is used to dealing with angry people, and ergo, there you are. So before you do that, what I would absolutely love today, I don't know if anyone's watching this in Vienna, if whilst you're out and about today, Family HG, I'd love it if someone went up to Mother HG and recognised Mother HG for being on the cheese room and said hello and blanked you. That would make my day. So that's why you're going to be doing the I told you so dance, because you've got something right. You've made sure you've communicated to the whole of the cheese room that you're right. So bask in this moment.
You're saying that I told you to invent the I told you so dance just so I could be I told you so in the YouTube atmosphere. Is that right, Dave?
Just roll with it, HG. Just roll with
it. Can I just tell you something? He asked me last night my views on what gone on. Didn't tell me anything about it other than what would you say? And I unfortunately agreed with him.
Of course you would. You brought him into the world.
I agree. I agreed with him, but
I think he brought himself into the world.
No one rubs salt in it more than HG is capable of doing. Take it away, HG.
All right. So, what kind of dance is that? I told you so dance. Dave, can you show us what I should be doing?
Yeah, sure, no problem. It's a big smug grin, like.
So it was probably that one.
Oh,
You do that thing.
Right, stand up.
They're going to see you.
No, hang on. I have to take this out. 1 second.
You're probably going to be doing this a lot of times, so you might as well get into practice.
Oh my God, that's weird.
It's like I'm seeing double.
All right.
Yeah.
Up against the wall.
That's it.
Where's your jazz hands, HG?
He's got rhythm.
Jazz
He's
hands.
got rhythm.
There we go.
He's got rhythm.
Worth every single like that one.
I should say that after Dave said I've got rhythm, my mum has repeatedly said the only thing I inherited from my father that was anything good was mother's rhythm.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I can dance. I can dance. For a big, fat, 6'3" guy, I'm quite nifty.
Very good.
So tag the HG dance, as I think you do in social media world. Send it around the world.
Do you know what? You're getting love here as well, HG. Look at this. And we have a cheese room gift. We do. We do.
But yeah, back to Arsenal finishing above Spurs.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one hates Arsenal more than I do because I have to live with the taunts from my Gooner-loving father every single day. I get selfies, I get text messages, I get left voicemails. You name it, I get it. But they've got a successful formula at the minute. I hate to say it, but they have. They're winning games. They're scoring goals. They're scoring good goals. They're not conceding too many. And yeah, I do think
change by next week.
I think they'll be above us next week after we play United, to be honest.
Well, that's very doom and gloom. Very doom and gloom indeed. I'm not enjoying that. Shan, what's the format of the watch along? And do you want to tell people where they can find you Wednesday night?
I'll be here.
In a darkened room.
In a dark room, depressed. I might wear black for the occasion.
Like Morticia.
Me and John will be here bringing all the positive vibes. If anyone in the cheese room wants to join us for such torture, please feel free. It'll be a lovely place.
I was going to say, so there's 140 odd people watching. If you want to join us, then do drop us a DM. We can get you in on Shan's show Wednesday night.
Mother HG, you like John? He's a good-looking boy. You like him.
A good-looking boy.
Mrs. HG really likes John.
Really likes John.
Yeah.
You too could share the screen with John.
John is the guy that we can't tell you this. Yeah, John is known as good-looking John because Jess, my wife, thinks that he's good-looking.
Oh, okay. I usually agree with Jess.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
He is.
The man with the child bride, John.
Oh,
hang on a minute. Oh no.
Can we just correct that? In case some seasons.
In case.
It's not a child bride. It's just younger than him, HG. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. Finally, I'm going to say, Mother HG, the voice of optimism and reason. Thanks for joining us tonight.
It's okay. I enjoyed it.
Can we win the Carabao Cup this season?
Who's left in it? I don't know who's in it. So
Man City.
Man City.
Well, we've already beaten them once. Why would we beat them twice?
There you go.
Haven't they won it like 3 years in a row?
Well, it's time to step down then.
But we could have done that last season. We didn't.
No, we had Ryan Mason in charge anyway.
Oh, in charge.
Absolutely.
Cardboard cutout.
Thanks very much for joining us. Lovely to have you on. HG, thanks once again. That dance was, there you go.
Oh, love that. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of that. That's beautiful.
Screenshot that.
Screenshot that. There's two of HG on the screen.
There is two. Don't screenshot that. But
just think there were two in real life.
Blimey.
Yeah, I think one was enough. You didn't have any more kids after me. That was it.
Dave-O. Dave-O. Your microphone's beautiful and so are you. Thanks very much for joining us.
No, thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to take a peek behind the curtains of the HG family household. It's been a beautiful evening and I will remember it forever.
And Shan, as ever, we can't wait to see you Wednesday night. What time are we kicking off on here?
I don't know. What time's kickoff?
We'll put the link on Twitter. We'll put the link on Twitter and Facebook, but I would imagine it's like a 7:30 kickoff, is it, or something? So we'll be on half an hour. We'll be on half an hour before kickoff.
Probably about 7. I'll tweet it. It'll be
well
good.
advertised.
I'm just trying to. If I speak it into existence, then it really is happening. So I'd rather just be in denial until Wednesday when I'm here with you all. So yeah.
She is absolutely in denial. And until next time, thanks very much for joining us. Do leave a comment, do hit the like button, do subscribe, and we'll see you again on Wednesday, ready for Shan's watch along. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!